Oftentimes, we get requests from people who try to submit their permanent residency or temporary residency application by themselves, and they got a refusal. So what to do if your application got refused? First of all, do not panic, put yourself together and create a strategy on how to address this refusal. Remember that the refusal letter that you received was automatically generated, and that contains some generic reasons for your refusal. To strategize, you would need to know more details on why your application was refused. So how can you get these details? Submit an ATIP request to request all the files, all the records that the RCIC Immigration Canada has on your file. This will include all the officers' notes and comments, and that will help you to shed more light on what actually led to your application refusal. Normally, or at average, that takes around 30 days to get your records after you submit an ATIP. And please keep in mind that to submit that request, you need to be a permanent resident, a citizen of Canada, or be physically present in Canada. So if neither of that applies to you and you need help to submit your application, your ATIP request, we can help you with that. Okay, so now you have all your records and you know all the detailed reason for your refusal. What to do next? Now it's time to actually make a plan and put together a new application which would address all the officers' concerns. So what are those most common concerns? First of all, one of the most common reasons of why application can be refused is incompleteness. So that's why it's very important that you read all the instructions, all the RCIC instructions and guidelines carefully and submit all the documents required for your application type. And keep in mind that there are also some country-specific documents for some application types, for example, family sponsorship or temporary residency visa. Sometimes applications can be refused for misrepresentation. And misrepresentation is a quite serious reason which can have very negative consequences for your application that can actually result in a 5-year ban to submit any Canadian application in the future. So what is misrepresentation? If there are any discrepancies, any inconsistencies in your application and the visa officer has doubts how truthful you were in your application can be refused for misrepresentation. For example, you stated that you worked for some specific company in the past, in your past application, and now you submit that you were unemployed during this period. That may raise concerns and red flags, and your application can be refused for misrepresentation. That's why it's very important that you actually do your homework, cross-check all the information that you have on your file, and that's especially important if you already submitted another application in the past. And keep in mind that even though rarely, but visa officers also make mistakes. That's why it's important that you keep records of all the documents, all the information, and all the data that you submit. So if you see from the ATIP notes that your application, let's say, was refused because you didn't submit some specific documents, but you have a proof that this document was submitted, you can reapply accordingly and address this issue. I hope that all these tips were helpful for you, but remember that every person's situation is unique. If you need help to strategize and to resubmit your application after refusal, write us an email and we will be happy to help. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel and comment below. And we'll see you in our next videos.